Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FC Newsday channel. We're back in our usual setting. It's been a brilliant couple of days, and the support on our last video has been brilliant. And thank you so much to all our new subscribers and new people here on the channel. Matt, welcome back, my friend. Feeling good to be back on live again?
Yeah, really good. Unbelievable though. Last week it was a
Oh,
pleasure,
mate,
and
incredible.
but great to be back to things and a nice result before that as well. So
Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. Just to draw a bit of a timeline, of course, we had the Emirates Cup on Wednesday last week, and we had the Community Shield on Sunday. It's just been like a week of being able to go to Arsenal, see everyone. Everyone's able to really get tickets. You don't get it too often, do you? So it's been a nice experience, isn't it? And a fun week as well.
yeah, honestly, it's been great. As you say, the social aspects, being back at the football, being back at the Emirates for one was great. Hopefully, as you say, alluded to how hard tickets will be. Hopefully, it's
Mm.
not mission impossible at the Emirates, but going to Wembley for the first time to watch Arsenal is pretty surreal. So that was fantastic and watching
Yeah,
us win. So
it's going to
no
be tough to get
spoilers.
tickets. Yeah, yeah, no spoilers. It's going to be tough to get tickets next season, man, isn't it? I mean, we'll talk about it a bit because there were some things we didn't get to chat about on the pod. But we will talk about it because the new ticketing system, let's start off with let's talk about Wembley first of all, and then we'll talk about tickets a little bit further on. But yeah, obviously Arsenal this week won the Emirates Cup, and they won the Community Shield on Sunday. It was a brilliant day out, an incredible experience. Myself and Matt both going to Wembley to watch Arsenal for the first time, and just really get to understand what a match day at Wembley's like. And the atmosphere was, I don't know about you, but because we were sat in different places, weren't we? So I was sat lower tier and you were sat upper tier. And for me, the experience at lower tier was, everything I imagined it to be and more. It was incredible. The atmosphere was like non-stop throughout the game, apart from when Cole Palmer scored. That was a bit, you know, it kind of settled down a little bit then. But the atmosphere in the lower tier was just, raucous. It was like the big games at the Emirates, and it was just non-stop for the whole game. What was the atmosphere like at upper tier? Was it a little bit more subdued? Were people sitting down a bit more?
I'd say it was pretty good, to be honest. I think it's probably quite a generic one in terms of when the first we started off really well with atmosphere. North London forever before, a few chants was really cool. I thought the concourse was all right as well, but the chants are a bit repetitive. Please stop singing about Tottenham. But it does my nut in, honestly. But yeah, no, it was good. When they had tons of the ball, it was a bit quiet, as you'd expect.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
then when we had any kind of ball or corner or whatever, support was really good. So yeah, pretty standard stuff, I'd say, but it was very, very good. Yeah.
Were people sat down more upper tier?
Yeah, but I mean, the guy in front of me was stood up loads, so I kind of had to stand up sometimes as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, a lot of the time, loads of people just stand up. I feel like relatively standard, but a bit more so than at the Emirates.
yeah, yeah. Sure. No, fair enough. And I mean, not to get the digs in straight away, but Man City fans, there was only one chant I actually heard from them, and that kind of got jeered. But obviously, it's a bit biased sat in one end, so you can't really hear the overall atmosphere. But I think Arsenal fans came to Wembley to stand up and sing and enjoy the day out, and the Man City fans kind of you know sat down and just watched the game. And
You know
I mean,
what?
you pay
I
your money and you're entitled to do what you want to do, but I'm not for all the criticism of Arsenal fans getting over celebrating it and stuff like that. If you pay your hard earned money to go and watch your football team play, you meet up with your mates at the weekend. It's a summer, everyone's feeling well. You win a trophy, you win a trophy. Maybe not to question the notability of that trophy. You're entitled to celebrate how you want to, and
You know
I
what
enjoy.
though? I
Yeah,
do I do sympathise with City fans because initially I was like, I didn't even hear a Champions of Europe chant. I was like, how have you not
no,
singing that? But
I didn't hear anything.
they did boycott the game, the real City fans, if you will, which kind of makes it like, well, no, because of the travel side of things.
Yeah, yeah,
Because obviously Manchester club going to London for the 700th time. So I do sympathise with that, and I'm not going to get onto them really for that. But initially, I was like, wow, like that was awful from them. But then when, their proper fans, if you will, stayed back and just boycotted, I'm like, okay, fair enough. Then obviously you
Well,
have
they still had pretty much a full end, didn't they?
yeah, but I feel like there's a big difference between even like Arsenal, your regular match going fans, and people who come for like the first time because it's on
Yeah.
telly or whatever.
Well,
So
you can compare the Emirates Cup to the Community Shield.
yeah, Emirates Cup was atmosphere wise not great. I mean, it was
Yeah.
very much like a what do we think of Tottenham
Yeah, every
fest.
5
So
seconds it was doing my head in.
hate it, absolutely
Yeah.
hate it.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh well. But it was a great day at Wembley, mate. What were your main takeaways from the actual, match day experience? Because I know we met we pretty much met up with the whole of Arsenal Twitter, didn't we? We just a group of us, all of us going around, and oh mate, it was an incredible day, and we got to, the group kind of got bigger and bigger the closer we got to the kickoff time. But I really enjoyed it, mate. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed it. What were some of your main enjoyable moments from the actual match day experience?
Yeah, no, I thought it was quality. I mean, I had a bit of a funny, I guess, start to getting there because I got to the station. I mean, I didn't get my previous bus. I got to station, Wembley Station, and I was trying to get to Blue Check, where we went before the game,
Yeah, and then we
and
left after you.
I had no service. And
Oh man.
although I'm there loads, I've never been Blue Check, so I don't know where it was.
Yeah,
So I couldn't find it. By the time I got service, it was about 15-minute walk because I went the complete opposite way. Got to
yeah.
Blue Check, get
And
in.
we'd all
No
left
one's
about
there.
20 minutes ago. Yeah. Oh
And then
man.
I'm like, all right, well, go to the Nando's because it's a classic thing for us to go Nando's. Don't know why, it
Oh
just is.
yeah. Yeah, mate. You can't beat a Nando's on a match day. Big up to Yambele, by the way, in the
Yeah,
chat.
how's
What
it going,
a
man?
guy.
But yeah, it was classic, really, because then I didn't know if you were still at Nando's or if I was going to
We
Nando's. I was
went to
like, all
two
right, just
different
walk a bit.
Nando's as well. We
Brilliant.
went to one in Wembley, and then there were no tables, and then we went and met you at the other one. But oh man,
Got a
brilliant
big
day out.
table, so but yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we did.
quality
We
day
we did in
out.
the end. We did in the
Great
end,
fun.
and you know what? It was yeah. There were so many people at Wembley. I feel like everyone was at Wembley, and it was just one of those days that lives long in the memory. And I hope that Arsenal can get to Wembley, a couple of times this season would be amazing. League Cup final and FA Cup semis or final as well. It would be incredible. And I love Matt, you can't beat a day out at Wembley, can you? It's just up there as top tier footballing experiences. But yes, I wanted to talk about the game. I wanted to talk about some moments from the game that we might take away. Matt, who are if we're now talking actually on the pitch, who were your main performers that kind of stood out to you from this game? Because I think for me, William Saliba was incredible this match, and he limited Haaland so much whilst Haaland was on. Haaland, I can't think of any memorable shots or moments where he got the better of someone. I think he only had about 15 touches in the end, Haaland as well. And someone said that half of them were just running away from the Saliba all the time. But for me, William Saliba was really good. I thought Partey was really good. I enjoyed Rice's cameo. Timber looked really good. What Kai Havertz, another one that looked good for me. Matt, what were some of the main takeaways for you from the actual game?
Yeah, I think my favourite part of it was the first 20 minutes because at the time it was kind of just like you kind of have to just be humbled by City. And in the past, we'd rush out, or other teams will rush out, and then you get a bit complacent. And City give you a false sense of security. It's like, oh, come get the ball. We're really high up with Ortega. Come tackle us. It's easy. And then before you know it, you press it too high, and they're in behind you, and they've scored. It's exactly what happened at the Etihad last season with the first goal because we stayed quite compact and stuff. And then we went all guns blazing when they scored that first goal. We just pressed fully, and they have Haaland that out ball, and unfortunately that happened then. But I was really proud of us to not rush in and be too aggressive and get lured in really by City. Sometimes you have to know your place against City, and so long as they're not doing anything really with the ball, which was huge to our credit. The only thing they did was when we gave the ball away once, Rodri had a shot, but Rice closed down really quickly. It was, really good. And as going on to the individual player side of things, as Yimbele's just said, Timber really, really good yesterday. Like I think I saw a tweet the other day saying that, you've never seen an Arsenal signing be warmed to this quickly. And it
Mm.
is just that, to be honest. And it's every part of him. Like, no one thought he'd be playing left back at all. Everyone was
No.
like, okay, Ben White depth, can play as a centre back. I guess spells the end of Rob Holding more or less. But he's been playing as a left back, which is incredibly impressive. And I mean, his shimmies, his body feints, his composure on the ball, defensively, he's great.
Mm.
Just also overlapping at times as well. Not really against City, because obviously that's not what
Yeah.
the intention would be. But
Yeah, no, for sure. He looks just so mobile and able to. It's just so versatile in the way he plays, and also just incredibly able on the ball. And I'm incredibly excited. And his signing went under the radar, Matt, didn't it? When he came in, because everyone was focused on Declan Rice and Rice coming through the door. And as Mbele said, Timber just looked like different class.
I thought you were
Yeah.
about to say he's come through the door. I was nearly.
Oh yeah, since Mbele's coming. No, but Timber looked different class, man. I'm really excited by his potential. His potential for this coming season, and the way he's playing. Zinchenko's got a lot of work to get back into the team. I still think Zinchenko's probably going to be preferred there, but Timbers looked incredible, and just so you've got all the confidence that he can slot into either left or right hand side. I'd still want to see him played at centre back, because people say that that's his main position, but I'd be interested to see how he gets on there. But it's so interesting, and a signing that I think is going to be incredible for Arsenal this coming season. What did you make of Kai Havertz, Matt? He, I think, shocked a lot of people when he was starting up front. At this, when the team news came out and everyone heard that Havertz was playing up front, I think a lot of people expected Eddie to play after the Emirates Cup, and maybe Trossard because of his form. But Havertz went straight in there, and I thought he did a really good job of holding the ball up. And yeah, that was what I thought of Havertz's cameo. What did you think, mate?
I like the fact you mentioned him, because I was going to go on to him as well. I was really, really happy with him. I thought his all-round game in general was just really, really good. I was watching the 442 video this morning, the analysis of Rice's job marking Rodri dropping the back foot interceptions. He meant, yeah, 100%. Before I go on to Havertz, Rice, I really liked a few of the things I saw. I know for me, he's just 100% going to be a hit, because you've got such an engine. You've got someone, okay, obviously he can improve in areas, but he's 24 years of age. He's a ridiculous engine. He's such a powerful ball carrier. Defensively, he's ridiculous interception-wise, tackling, reading of the game. Like, even for me, that moment where Rodri had that shot, at the time, I was like, oh, sloppy giveaway. It was a sloppy giveaway, but Rice closed him down like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Rodri had, if he'd scored, it'd be like, okay, fair play. That's just the definition of City. You make a tiny, tiny mistake, and you get punished. But on to Kai Havertz, I really liked his hold-up play. I thought the chance for the first one, obviously, it was the opposite end for me. Well, not obvious, but I was sat the opposite end, so it's always hard to gauge.
Yeah.
But I thought initially, we've got to score that. I think the second one probably should do better, but even
the
watching
second
it
one,
back,
the second one, you look at it and you think if Eddie was in that position, in my opinion, he would have, Eddie would have been at least put in a more powerful effort on goal and a higher likelihood of that, being a goal. But it's tough as well. The second one, he receives the ball with his back to goal and gets a shot off, and it's a weak shot. But you think it's interesting, because Rohan touched on it in the pod, and he was saying that his XG is high because he gets into these positions and he creates these chances, and it's just about just switching something in his head and getting the composure in his brain, so that he actually can just become a better finisher. And you think if that can switch and he can become a better finisher, he's going to score a hatful of goals, because he gets in the positions, doesn't he?
I think that's what people, obviously, this isn't just going by this one extreme, but when you have an attacker or a player who gets into the positions, his movement's brilliant and he's on the end of these chances, I'm not really worrying. Like, people always go on about Jesus and stuff, but the amount of chances he gets for himself speaks for itself. If you look at even Erling Haaland last season, he had the most big chances missed, or one of the most. And that's just a general point, that players who get into the best positions have some of the most missed chances. And I don't think it's something which, as a fan base, we should look down upon. It's kind of something to expect when you have so many chances. And I know obviously Jesus, I'm sure he knows as well, he could be a better finisher. Same with others. But it's when you get into those positions, it's just so good. Like for me, if he didn't get that injury last season, he probably would be on a 20-goal path. That's a bit off topic, but I feel like Havertz is in that same sort of mould. And you were talking about Eddie, you were talking about Trossard. I feel like Arsenal Twitter has this habit of going into meltdown when anything goes slightly wrong. So when I saw Jesus' injury, you know, if
I
it
think that's
was
an
to
understatement. I think that's an understatement, mate. Yeah.
I'm just like, seems like Kudus is going to Brighton, who we were quite heavily linked with. But I
Yeah.
don't know,
Okay.
still, personal terms obviously haven't been agreed per se. So at the
Yeah.
time of recording or the time of speaking now, but I think when you look at our attacking options, you've got Kai Havertz who could play as an 8 and play up front, as we saw yesterday, playing against that City team as well. And I feel like playing up front against for Chelsea when you're pretty isolated is very different to playing up front for Arsenal when you've got a lot around you and a very compact system.
I think just on that as well, the perfect example is Aubameyang. He went from Arsenal scoring goals to Barcelona scoring goals, and then he goes to Chelsea and he doesn't. And you think, you know, the player's still there. Why is he not scoring goals? And you think it's probably more the system that they play. He's just not naturally getting chances, was he? And Havertz, you could probably maybe say the same sort of thing for. And I know obviously Alba kind of didn't get minutes as well in the latter stages of his Chelsea career, his illustrious Chelsea career. But yeah, no. Havertz, it's all about the system, isn't it? And yeah, sorry, it's interesting. Carry on. Yeah, I just thought.
Yeah, no, that's very worth putting in. I feel like with Aubameyang, it was probably more a case of the player coming towards the end of his career, if you will.
I still think he's got more to offer though, but he just wasn't getting chances at Chelsea.
That sounds harsh. I don't mean like he's going to retire tomorrow. I mean like a all-round game aspect. You know what he's relied on and stuff.
Yeah,
is just not quite.
Well, he's gone to Marseille now, hasn't he?
Yeah, best of luck to him there. But yeah, I mean it's a bit off topic, but yeah. When you look at Eddie when he came on, I thought he ran the channels really well.
He looked really good.
I think there was one moment he didn't need to go down at all. Like it was the free kick one where he went down. It's not a free kick. He's gone down too soft. But once again, you kind of punish refs or whatever for rewarding that type of behaviour. And then Trossard, man of the moment at the minute, he can't do anything wrong. He's a special like level raiser type player.
When Trossard hit that shot, and I was sat right behind the goal, you know, a little bit further back, but on the lower tier, right behind the goal, and I could see the angle, and you could see he struck the shot, and then a good couple of meters before it was in the back of the net, I could tell like some of us started celebrating early because you're like, that's going straight in. Oh man, honestly, it was a brilliant experience, and you know, you can't top a day at Wembley, and the celebrations were just great to see, and it's just good vibrations ahead of the new season. So I'm really looking forward to it. Just to touch on before we get into the next thing, mate, the pod's been well received from what we've done so far. I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone that's watched the episode. We've trying to promote it as much as we can. There's more clips out. If you can't watch the whole thing, there's some key clips on our Twitter feed at AFC Newsday. There's a link in the description if you wanted to follow us, and any subscriptions as well. If you're not already, please do subscribe. We really appreciate any support on the channel early on, and we hope we will be able to go back up to the studios and record some more podcasts. I think tickets depending, Matt, isn't it? Because if we can get tickets next season, then we'll get the boys together and get down a bit early and record an episode before a game or something. But the ballots are looking so painful, aren't they? It's interesting because I don't know if you saw, but Newcastle changed the way they do it. I think they had a ballot in place for this coming season, and they had so much negative feedback that they've like reversed their decision. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if Arsenal also reverse it, but I just can't personally see it happening. But I don't know. It's been great.
It's one of those though. Is like be careful what you wish for. Because there's been a lot of people would be like, oh, Arsenal need, I don't know, a bigger stadium or whatever. But I remember I was speaking about it, I think, the other day. I remember I was trying to get tickets for my friends, or three of us even, for Arsenal Southampton when we won 3-0. It was easy. You could get uppers, three of them next to each other a few weeks after they were released. Like, easy. I was a young Cannons member for the first year or so of me going Arsenal, and I was getting games like City and Liverpool for £27. It
Yeah.
was just
Well, I mean, during the just before COVID, you could get any game whenever you wanted to. Like the season, the season that Emery got sacked, that season you could go to any game you wanted to. You could, the tickets were
easy.
there. You just needed to go on the exchange and you could just get them. But now it's almost impossible. And with the ballot as well, and also the exchange has changed as well, hasn't it? Because you can't just kind of log on there and refresh and hope something pops up now, can you? You've just got to. What's the difference with that? Isn't it a separate link you've got to go onto or something?
I think there is a way around of getting the original one, but
Mm,
for their strict system in place, not like strict system, like just how it is,
yeah.
it's very difficult to.
Is this what Yem's saying as well? It's also the auto payment thing where it
Yeah,
just randomly allocates you a seat. And I know to be fair to Arsenal on this one, they do say that there's like a price range, so the most you'll be paying or the least you'll be paying. So you
isn't
can
that for
kind of
silver? I don't know if that's for red.
I think they do release the information. They do say what it can be, but obviously exchange doesn't take that into account. But it is very annoying, and you don't know where you're going to sit, and it's completely random. So we'll wait and see.
To be fair to Arsenal with that, initially I was also quite up in arms about that, but
Yeah,
I do like the fact you can just post it to the exchange because respectfully, if I enter a Fulham ballot and I get a ticket worth like £90,
yeah.
that's gone straight on the exchange. I do apologise, but
Yeah. But again, I don't even know how to navigate the exchange yet. But we'll wait and see. And it's going to be a long season, and hopefully we can get, hopefully at some point we'll be able to go watch a game. But we'll wait and see if Arsenal allow it. But Matt, yeah, moving back onto the talk about football and Arsenal, I wanted to talk about Flo Balogun because we're getting a few more twists in this transfer saga. There's not really been any since the whole Rice thing, it's all everyone's kind of we've almost done it. It's just about outgoings now, and it's nice to have a bit of dopamine on the timeline and a bit of a transfer saga. So, yes, I think Balogun. There's been bids rejected from Monaco now, and there's also interest from Inter Milan because Scamacca's gone off to where did Scamacca join?
Atalanta.
Atalanta. So, um, yeah, I think it's a bit of a transfer saga unfolding. What's your take on where do you think he's going to end up? And do you think that this is only positive for Arsenal because now there's more clubs coming in and there's more chance there can be a bit of a bidding war and Arsenal can get a bit more money for him?
Whoever pays the most off your pop. No,
Yeah.
it's tough to say really.
What's
To
the minimum?
envision
First of all, what's the minimum you're accepting? What's the smallest amount you'll let him go for?
40 million, and that's
40.
with
Okay.
add-ons as well, to be honest. Because like
Mm,
40 plus add-ons, sorry. Because I think you can so easily get gaslit by social media telling you it's a bad price or it's unfair or whatever. It's not. I understand both perspectives as well, because obviously Balogun extended his contract.
yeah.
He's not really played many or any senior games. I only remember the City one. So I understand that perspective as well. But at the end of the day, you look at the market right now. Lewis Openda's a decent benchmark for it. Obviously, Hoyland's different market, of course. We're not going to have United in for our players. But yeah, with a buyback is an interesting one as well to discuss. I think I've raised the
Mm.
question. Ian Bellet
I
and
think personally a sell on. I don't think a buyback personally. I think just because I think just because of I think Arsenal have got enough options. Unless he like skyrockets massively, I think it would probably end up being a sell on. But
yeah, I
I
could
don't
see
I don't
it.
know. Yeah,
It's
I think
just
Arsenal. Yeah, it's interesting. It depends how well he does because you think how much his value's shot up since he went out on loan. Because after Middlesbrough, no one was calling for him to come back and be sold for anywhere near this amount of money. So, yeah. Sorry, Matt. Come on, carry on, mate.
that's all right. Yeah, I was going to raise an interesting question as well to Yimbele and of course you, Dan.
Go on.
I think I did ask this question a while back, but I feel like it's more applicable now that the transfer saga is properly, going underway or taking movement or bids are happening with Florian Balogun.
Yeah.
Would you rather accept a 40 million bid with a buyback? Let me say 35 actually, because I don't want to be
Okay.
unrealistic now with
Yeah.
the
Go on.
money
Go on.
touted, or say 55 without a buyback, but a sell-on clause, but not a high sell-on clause.
I think 55, to be honest. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's an immediate rush to, you know, to for a buyback personally. And also, I'm not being funny. I think Eddie's looked really sharp in pre-season.
I
I
love
think,
Eddie. I think he's
yeah, I think
brilliant.
Yem's saying the same sort of thing about.
Yeah,
I'd accept
it's a
55.
lot. It's a
But
lot of
I think
money.
Eddie's looked really sharp in this pre-season. I mean, we did the pod before the Emirates Cup and the Community Shield, and we were kind of saying that we reckon he won't be here in about 2 years' time. But if he continues the way he started this pre-season, then he's looked really, really good. And I thought in the Emirates Cup he looked really sharp, and he was one of the standouts for me. And I think in the Community Shield as well, do you not think when he came on he made an impact and he offered something different to Havertz? Havertz was holding the ball up with his back to goal really well, and Eddie comes on and, like you said, he was running the channels, getting that pace behind, stretching them a little bit more. It's what you want, and it's nice now to see that Arsenal have got different options in their forwards. Do you not think, as in their strikers, people that can offer different things? In Kai Havertz, someone that can, Arsenal can go a bit more direct with. You can pump the ball up to him, and hopefully, you think he'll be able to hold it up more and play off him. And he's a physical presence, and he can be physical. And then you've got more mobile strikers like Jesus, Trossard, and Eddie. It's nice to have these options. It's almost like something that Arsenal haven't had since the days of Giroud and Welbeck, and that kind of different offering of options off the bench.
Yeah, I think as well with the whole Balogun thing, as you say with Eddie, I feel like you look at every one of Arsenal's 9 options and they offer something very different. Maybe
Mm,
Jesus, Trossard, similar, but I don't think anyone can compare to Jesus's footwork and his dribbling and even
yeah,
the way he backs against defenders, considering his size.
very
But
silky player. Yeah.
yeah, unbelievable. But I look at it, I think Eddie's such a good runner. He's a really good outlet. He's improved his all round game. I think for me, it's a case of is he okay not being a complete starter for
Mm,
Arsenal? Maybe he can be the starter. I personally still think we will splash big for a striker next summer, but I think his quality for me has never really been in doubt. And then you've got obviously Trossard, as I said, quite similar to Jesus, and then Havertz as a plan B. I'm
mm,
not too sure where Balogun would fit in with that.
yeah. I think he's got to try and get over, in front of Eddie, and I can't see that happening the way that Eddie's been playing so far. Yem's in agreement with that. Players that change our approach. Also in midfield, yeah, Emil Smith Rowe's an interesting one.
Nice cameo, by the way, against
Yeah,
City.
it was a nice cameo, and he's looked good as well. There's it's just so nice to see ahead of the season. There's so much depth in certain positions now, especially forwards and midfielders. I think you've got the players like Odegaard, sorry, like Partey, Rice, and Jorginho, who can play, maybe the sixes and eights more defensive, and then you've also got players like Odegaard, Havertz, Smith Rowe, Vieira, Trossard, who can all play in the midfield somewhere too. And even when you get to forwards, like half of those players I just named can also play out wide and potentially down the middle too. And I think Vieira's looked encouraging. I don't know about you, but
Really nice.
I think going into pre-season, I was thinking, I don't know if this guy's got a future at Arsenal. We're going to need to see something crazy this coming season if Arsenal are going to keep hold of him. But he's looked quite sharp, hasn't he, in pre-season, and he got a lot of love for scoring that penalty, didn't he? But in front of the Arsenal fans. And yeah, no, it's just nice to see, and hopefully that gives him a bit of confidence going into the season, and Arsenal can capitalise on his confidence and hopefully takes him a long way. Out of all of Arsenal's new signings so far, Matt, who have you been most impressed with, and
Oh,
why?
it's tough because the most obvious answer is Timber because he's just been so consistent. The fact, he could play left back as well, obviously, as I've said earlier, is a huge bonus and
Mm.
one which we didn't exactly expect per se. But I'm kind of inclined to go for Havertz, to be honest. Timber's the
Really?
obvious answer
Okay.
because Timber is the answer. But I feel like if I say Timber, it's kind of just got to be different. Um,
Okay. Go on, back it up
Rice,
then. Back it up
Rice,
then. Why?
I love Declan.
Mm.
But obviously missed that game. He's not quite fully fit, and he still looks such a top player. So I can't wait to see more of him. But obviously he's kind of not out the running per se. But as of right now, obviously it's between Timber and Timber. To be fair, but I'll add more onto Havertz because I just think Arteta's been so smart where he wants a big number 9 and he wants an 8. So why not combine them?
Yeah.
Why buy a separate 9 who could cause issues in the team later down the line, or find it hard to move a player on in the future when you buy a player who hybridizes with both, can play in other areas too. I think his movement's been really good. I really like his aggression. I feel like against City, from Chelsea days, his high pressing's always been really good, and Leverkusen and such. But
he pressed well, didn't he?
Yeah, I really liked his game against City. I felt like he did play with a bit of a caution after he got that booking. It was very much a case of obviously tired or fatigue and stuff, but I feel like it was very much a case of he was properly in City's faces. And then he got that booking and it was kind of like, okay, I'm laying off it a bit more, not being quite so aggressive. And I just thought, his hold up was really good. His profile was so useful. Playing in the midfield, those back post goals he scored. It's just, I like his movement. I like his intent. For very early days, from a player who was so talented at Leverkusen, but never quite hit it for Chelsea for, I guess, kind of obvious reasons with how Chelsea are, but obviously, of course, the player. But yeah, I've been impressed with Kai, and I look forward to seeing more of him. I wonder if he does start against Forest, and whether that's up front or in the midfield. I'd be intrigued to hear your opinion on that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well with Kai is you've almost got to, you can't limit him to a certain position, because I feel like rival fans are saying, is he a midfielder? Is he a forward? And they're almost like, well, you need to decide. Everyone's been deciding for so many years. Well, why do Arsenal need to decide? Why can't Arsenal just use him sometimes as a midfielder, as a forward? And if Arteta feels that, depending on what the game is, then he can use them in different positions, and then why not? I don't have an issue with it. I think he's looked really good, and I think rival fans as well will focus on the missed chances yesterday. But I think his overall game and his overall package was really encouraging, and I'm a fan already of him. And I think he looks hungry to learn. He looks like someone that wants to be involved and is invested in the project, and I find that really exciting. But also, Jan just brought up a point which we need to talk about. We did briefly touch on it earlier, but William Saliba, the deal of the summer potentially. But I remember being at the game and just thinking, he is the definition of a player with that 4-letter word beginning with A. And he just has that presence about him that is just incredible. And he's 22 years old, mate. He's the same age as me. And he's an absolute, unit, an absolute powerhouse, and just what a player. Oozes class, oozes quality. And the way he was knocking the ball around in the final 10 minutes when Arsenal had their backs against the wall, they were trying to, really trying to kind of generate that final chance to get themselves into the game and take it to penalties. But I thought, I don't have a picture of it here, but Sam Dean tweeted out at halftime saying that, I think he summed it up perfectly. I retweeted it at the game, but he said Arsenal spent 200 million this summer, but he thinks that William Saliba's new contract might just be the most important deal they've done this summer transfer window. Matt, are you in complete agreement with that?
It's tough because Saka also, do you count that as this summer or do you not count that as this summer?
I'd say this summer.
So you've got Saka, Saliba, and Rice. Now, as it stands, definitely one of those two is so huge. I think Rice will probably be the biggest.
You've also got Martinelli, Ramsdale.
Marte was last year, to be fair.
Well, no, it's still the summer. Well, yeah, a bit.
Last December, yeah.
Sure, yeah. But go on, yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I think saying the best is a tough one because you have literally Galactico level youth talents.
Yeah.
And then you have one of the best midfielders in the world signed at an incredible age. So it's tough to say the best or not the best, but what you can say is William Saliba was just imperious, really, isn't he? Like it's great that we haven't allowed the contract to, I think some fans had a bit of a fear that we'd be sitting here in July or August and there's still quite a lot of doubt about it. But
Mm,
the idea that he was going to agree it was way in advance, and him actually agreeing it way in advance. I don't remember the exact date or whenever, but it was definitely quite a while ago. And his quality, I mean, the fact Arteta took off Gabriel when we were chasing a goal kind of says it all, really. And I'm never a
yeah.
fan of taking off your centre back at all. But for one, when Arsenal have the versatility they do, with having a Urian Timber or a Ben White who can play as a centre back, it just brings so much squad options and unpredictability. And he was just fantastic, really. His ball playing abilities, his reading of the game, his aggression to Haaland as well, I thought was really good.
Mm,
As you say, the fact he's 22, when you think about like Van Dijk, the age he came to Liverpool at was a
yeah.
lot older than 22. Now, I'm
Mm,
not making that comparison. I'm just saying someone who was a top quality player only joined Liverpool at that age. I guess Ruben Diaz could be a bit more comparative. He was, what, 23 or so when he
yeah.
joined City? But
Mm,
it's just almost unheard of to be this
yeah.
good, this complete. Obviously, areas to improve as well, but that's like any player in the world, more or less.
Mm.
But to be this good, this complete at such an age is just unbelievable.
And Yem said it as well. He said that like when Gabriel came off, it went to a three back almost. And it was almost like there was one centre back and a left back and a right back with Tierney on the left, Saliba in the middle, and Ben White on the right. And you had the whole of the Manchester City attack, and Saliba was just on his own, and even Yem wasn't worried. Like no one wasn't worried when this
Coolest
was
man in the
happening.
place.
He's just honestly incredible centre back, and I think one hell of a player. And I just think if Arsenal continue on this trajectory they're on, then you hope he can stay with Arsenal and continue to be incredible for years to come and a club legend. And I've seen a few people saying that this is the best Arsenal side since Arsene Wenger's Invincibles. I mean, I'm not fully qualified to speak on it because
Neither.
I was only born in 2001, so I would have been about 3 years old when the Invincible season was. But it's the best team in my lifetime, I'd say safely. Well, of my Arsenal supporting lifetime, it's mate. There's some of the players and there seems to be there's much more physicality about the players as well, isn't there? That they're all naturally just really they're all units, aren't they, Matt? they're all absolute units, aren't they?
You're trying to find a way to describe it, but
Yeah,
units
I have
just
no words.
it's appropriate.
I have no words that are appropriate to describe it.
You know
Uh,
what? Talking of the latest unit, I want to I've always been a huge fan of his, but I just want to give another shout out to Ben White. Not that he's
Ben White.
listening, but
Mm.
the quality of player is
Man, I'm
just.
sure he subscribed to FC Newsday. Don't stress.
You know what? You might be right. You might be right. But
Mm.
he's just so good. I mean, the cut inside for the Havertz chance initially,
Yeah,
his
lovely turn of pace.
control on
Yeah.
the ball. He wasn't allowing Grealish to have any of it. Like he was
Mm.
just aggressive without, being too aggressive. Then you get bypassed. Someone like Grealish, obviously, you got to be careful. But I just think he is so good.
Yeah.
And I think he was brilliant at centre back in his first season for the club, which puts into perspective what type of player we're dealing with. And I think he's just such a top player, and he should be spoken about as well in the same breath as other top players.
Mm.
Yeah, Yim Velez agrees with that.
Yeah.
And interesting as well, he said work to do to be better than Invincibles, but they can be, have to win something
Yeah.
big. That's very much fair enough. It's on paper, of course, the team, the quality, the age, the profiling, the depth, phenomenal.
Mm.
And it's the best we've definitely seen in a while. But particularly me, I'm not I'm not qualified to say. But as you say, winning big stuff will be huge, and I have huge expectations for us this season. I know we spoke about it last
Mm.
pod, and particularly the in-person pod.
Yeah.
About who we thought would go down or stay up. That's received interestingly. But yeah, I'm really excited, and there's no reason we can't win Premier Leagues, win Champions Leagues, win cups, win everything. Really, to be honest.
Sure, 100%. Well, mate, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone who's been watching. Please, if I can ask you to like and subscribe, we really appreciate any support. And big thanks to Wembley, of course, for being in the chat with us this afternoon. I hope you have a good rest of your day, mate. And it was a shame not to catch you and Faisal at the game. And I hope you guys had a great time. And I'm looking forward to, hopefully, if we can, be at the Emirates this season. We'll wait and see. But yeah, it's been brilliant to be back on with you, Matt, mate. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Matt, any final words before we jump off?
Just so it's not clickbait, for the title, Arsenal to sign David Raya. That is also seeming like happening. I have to just chuck it in there because I
go
saw
on then
the
quickly.
title.
Yeah, go on. No, good point. Good point. Yeah, go on then. Do you want to talk about it?
Very, very, very briefly, because I don't want to add an extra segment when it's done. But I thought it was just worth talking about because it's pretty much a done deal now. And also Austin Justy's fully joined Sheffield United now. And really good player. Matt Turner also pretty much joined Forest now, which would be the domino which had to happen for David Raya. Top player. I'm kind of surprised that people willing not to be backup, because I don't think there is such a thing as backup anymore. It's such a competitive squad with so many top quality players. As you say, competition is it really? And there's so many games, people underestimate that. And I think obviously having Turner for the penalty saving aspect and his quality in general is great. But having a keeper stylistically, you know, another market opportunity with Raya in his final year in his contract, being able to manipulate a price which isn't absurd like the 40 million reported. Not that that's absurd, but in terms of for our needs and a backup keeper or of that ilk, you're not paying 40 million. Or at least without selling Turner plus. And yeah, really happy with I'm going to say with the signing, because it very much seems like a formality if it's fallen apart by this time.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. Yeah. But yeah, we could be seeing Matt Turner very soon as well, by the way. I don't think we fully appreciated that. He could literally, we could be seeing him first game of the season against Nottingham Forest.
I don't think could be. I think will be.
Probably, most likely. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I wonder if we can, get him to let a couple in for us. But oh, that'd be good.
Be nice.
But yeah, no, just finally, just to say as well, Yem's kind of mentioned it. There's we did the in-person pod up in London ahead of the Emirates Cup, and you can still watch it on the channel. Please do feel free to, after you finish this, click on the on our channel, drop a subscribe, like the video, and then if you see in our most recent videos, there's a nice big 50-minute of all of us and getting some of your favorite people from the Arsenal timeline, the likes of Rohan Raf. Evan has his big face reveal, and Curran was there.
You said Rohan Raf like it's one name.
No, Rohan and Raf, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, that's a new name.
But yeah, no, please do feel free to go and watch it. It was great to be over there. And thank you so much for all the support so far. But yeah, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video. And it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Matt.